Hello and welcome to Too Fast, Too Forever. There's all kinds of family. We chose this one. This is episode 232, our tune-up relap recap for Lap 10. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe too, and this episode's brought to you by Brothers Garage Door. Brothers Garage Door Sales and Service, your Waukesha and Washington County garage door repair company. Shout out to Brothers Garage Door.
Well, shout out to Brothers Garage Door and welcome to Too Fast, Too Forever. There's no movie we're talking about today. This is your first tune-up. This is the end of Lap 10, So we're reflecting back on the lap that was, looking forward to next lap. And Joe is also, we're actually both going to do our rankings of the movies, but Joe's going to do his first serious rankings in 5 laps. So I'm very excited about that. But before we get to all that, that'll be after the break. Joe, extracurricular activities. What have you been up to since we last spoke?
We finished up all the Oscar movies in prep for the Oscars.
Okay. What was your best picture of the 10?
My favorite one, and one that I was just a big sobby boy about, was King Richard, man.
Oh, okay.
I really love that.
So you're Team Will Smith is what you're saying.
I'm Team don't be violent and also don't talk.
Sure.
Just everybody get along is what I'm Team Will Smith's acceptance speech.
That was long, man. 5 minutes or something, right? That was a long speech.
Yeah, I mean, just the whole part of we should all get along, but not after slapping someone.
Right.
So I really enjoyed King Richard. I thought that movie was great. I liked his character in it. I definitely think he should have won Best Actor. That was awesome. There was a lot that we liked though. I wasn't mad that Coda won for Yeah,
Rachel texted me about how much she was crying during Coda. I'm like, hey man, Coda made me cry 3 times too. So
yeah, it was a good movie. I had some mild problems with Coda, how can you be deaf parents and not function at all as a deaf person? So that was the only tiny marks I had against that movie. You know what I mean? There was parts where they were we can't read lips and stuff, and you're like, really?
Well, I think they can. I think it was, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, so there was some things like that I was like, okay, for the story, she needs to be, pivotal to the family.
Yep.
I get that, but at the same time, I was like, come on, man. We watched Drive My Car. That was a long movie. We made jokes that you'd probably love it because it was all about grief.
Oh, I do love it. I saw it in theaters. I think that's the one. I think that's of the 10. That's the one that benefited most from being in theaters and not being able to be on your phone or whatever.
I definitely agree with that. That, and then we watched Power of the Dog, which was a movie that when we finished it, we were like, this is a movie, and the more that I think about it, the more I was like, that was a pretty good movie, right? It wasn't not my favorite, not a great movie, you have to see it, but I was like, that was pretty good. But I think King Richard is the one that I'm going to share with all of my parents. I told everybody's parents to go watch it, and the only other thing that we've been up to is to cut in between that. Rachel's never seen The League, so we started The League.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we started The League with her, and we're obviously blowing through it, 20-minute episodes and stupid premise. So that's it. I think next up we have some ideas.
Did you point out to her and say, "Hey, Andre Nozick, he follows us on Twitter"?
Yeah, she definitely knew who he was. Yes, Rachel has assumed sports knowledge through everything that I do. So her watching it now, I can catch her chuckling at the actual sports jokes in it, which you don't need to know to enjoy the show. But
Sure.
That's pretty much what we've been up to. I'm gonna start catching up on all the other bullshit TV soon.
Did you start Atlanta or not yet?
No, I was saving it. I was saving it, and with the Oscar movies, and actually watching Penguins games and stuff. I want to focus on Atlanta. Also, Zach said that he started he watched the new season. He was like, they start out in Europe, and I was like, that's weird. I don't know why. And Rachel's like, they finished the last season in Europe, and I was like, oh well, I totally don't remember what happened at the end of the last one.
It hasn't been on since I think 2019, maybe. It's been
so it's long.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get the general premise, but if you were oh, they were all what was the last thing that happened in Atlanta? I'd be like, I have no idea, right? So.
Right.
Yeah. So I haven't started watching it yet, but I'm excited to start watching it because I love that show too.
Cool. Anything else?
No. What about you, brother? Oh, have you tried the new Starlight flavored Coke?
No. What is Starlight? What's Starlight flavor?
I don't know. It kind of tastes like a vanilla Coke that has cotton candy flavor added to it.
Interesting. Okay.
It's
I
pretty
know. I
good
don't know if you
though.
saw it, but there's a new coming out Pepsi with maple syrup flavored.
Oh, I love maple, but I don't know how that's gonna go.
I think it's probably going to be gross, but I don't know.
I'll try one. But this Starlight flavor Coke, I had one the other day, and I just got Rachel got me another one because I was like that was really good. It's like it's not meant to be like drank more than one. Like I wouldn't buy like a case of it. But if you're at a gas
Starlight
station,
Coke. Okay.
if you're at a
Yeah,
gas
I'll
station,
go to Quick Check tonight. I'll get one. I'll try it.
yeah, yeah, it's
Oh,
like a
maybe. Ooh,
what?
here's. Get ready for this. I'm going to go to Quick Check between episodes, and I'll have an exclusive review on our Patreon bonus episode for Four Brothers.
Oh,
So get ready.
I'm excited. Yeah, yeah. It's like it's
That would be
meant
the
to.
dumbest reason for people to join the Patreon, to hear my review of a soda that I didn't know existed a minute and a half ago. But, maybe.
I didn't know it existed.
TooFast2Forever.com.
I didn't know it existed. We were getting lunch. Rachel said, "Oh, this is the new Starlight Coke. Everybody's trying to figure out what flavor it is." And I took a sip and I was like, "You should not have that with food, but that is a delightful treat when you just want one soda."
Okay. I'm looking at the bottle. The bottle looks cool. I'll give it a shot. So this past weekend was my fantasy baseball draft. So
Oh,
normally for
yeah.
the last decade, we've done a bunch of live drafts. I've hosted two of them. We've probably done
And you usually go to the
maybe
Russian bathhouse, right? Isn't that what
we
the
do. Well, we have before.
Okay.
Normally it's hosted by one of three different people, including me.
Yeah.
This year, for the first time, we went to a house in the Poconos because it was doubling as a friend's birthday and also a friend's bachelor party, which the friend who was having a bachelor party wound up skipping the first night. We're like, cool, man. Like, it wasn't like we were kind of doing this for you, but whatever. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But we went to this house in the Poconos. It was on a little lake, which was cool, and they had a fire pit and they had a hot tub, and it was just like a nice overall setup. Obviously, the Wi-Fi not ideal, but for everything else, it was like a perfect spot for us.
And in a live draft, you don't really need Wi-Fi. But I was gonna say, do you
Well,
know?
we only had 8 people there, so we had 2 people on Zoom, so it could have
Okay.
been better. But we were a couple of people using hotspots, and we offloaded enough bandwidth that we were able to have a pretty solid Zoom connection. Otherwise, yes, you're absolutely
The
right.
connection part, yes, but it's not like you need to draft on your computer if you're doing it
Right, correct.
live.
Yes.
So like it
Yep.
could take as long as you want, whatever you want. I was just saying, did you know that there is a running joke? At least I think it's for the whole city, but in Pittsburgh, if you take your girlfriend to the Poconos, you break up immediately. It's like a common joke.
No, I didn't know that. Okay.
Because it's like a weekend date spot, right? Like if anybody doesn't know, like the Poconos, they have the NASCAR track, right? I think it's like a
I have
NASCAR
no
track.
idea. So, this was technically in the Poconos. I don't know how Poconos it was because
Yeah.
we were the way that it was a nice house. We would definitely go back there, but it was built as this lakefront paradise, and we're like, oh, this can be an enormous house by itself in the woods, and it was kind of just in a neighborhood. I'm like, oh, okay, and so I have this grand I think I'm conflating we've talked about the Poconos before on here, but I've
Yeah.
conflated the Poconos with the Hamptons, and
Yes.
especially if they're watching Seinfeld and
Rachel
George
said
going to the Hamptons
Friends
and stuff, right?
Friends goes to the Poconos, Rachel says, because we drive past it or through it every time we go back to Pittsburgh.
Gotcha. Okay, but yeah, this was just I don't know what I know the Poconos is there's a ski resort and
Yes.
mountains and whatever.
Yes.
This was nowhere near that. I mean, it might have been I don't know, but it was just basically just a
And there's a
nice
lake.
house on a lake.
There's
Yeah.
a Lake Pocono. Like that's the whole
Yeah, we were on a different lake. We were not on Lake Pocono or whatever. But again, nothing. But I don't know. So people go there to break up. You're saying?
No, people go there as a date weekend place because it's like you said, it's a lot of
Oh, okay.
you
I
can
see. Yes.
rent a house and spend a quaint weekend together with your lover. But
And it's an easy first weekend away together because it's close and inexpensive, right?
yes, but what happens is everybody goes there
Yes.
and comes back and they're like, I hate that person, and they break up, and that's the
Yes.
joke. So whenever somebody and my parents have a rental car place, so people would be like, oh, we're renting a car to drive to the Poconos, and then they'd come back and we'd be like, they definitely broke up. So
I get you. Well, we had no breakups, which was good.
yeah, if it's all if it's all dudes celebrating a bachelor party, I hope none of you broke up with each other.
Yeah, no, the draft was great. Somebody brought a Raspberry Pi with a bunch of SNES games. We played a lot of video games
Oh, that's
and
cool.
just drank and grilled and got pizza in town and just hung out and had a nice breakfast a couple mornings. And so, yeah, it went really well. Baseball starts, as you know, baseball's always going on, but
It's
baseball
always
actually
baseball
starts,
season.
I think, 2 days after. So this episode comes out April 5th, and I think first day of baseball is April 7th. So baseball this week for sure. So I
Yeah,
think,
that's right.
I'm sure Justin's excited, and I think Jerry likes baseball too. I know this is not exactly the biggest baseball crowd. Our people.
Wells likes
He likes
the
the A's.
Oakland
Yep.
A's. Yeah.
So shout out to all the baseball heads out there, but that's coming up soon. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? Because that was such a big. Oh, I saw the new Channing movie, The Lost City, with him and Sandra Bullock.
My friend said that was actually a ton of fun, and he's
It was really
neither
fun.
a Sandy nor Channing. Like he has no horse dog in this race, right? Like
Yes.
but he was like, "Oh, dude, you should see it. It's a lot of fun." And I was like, "Well, I'm a big Channing fan, so okay, cool."
Yeah, it's cool as especially as people who listen to this show know. We had the Channing podcast that we stopped, but Channing's close to our hearts, and so I started watching all the movies at the mall because it's closer, and I don't want to drive 45 minutes round trip to go see a movie or whatever. So I basically just see things at the mall now. So the mall only has six screens,
Yeah.
but two of them are Channing Tatum movies. It's this and Dog is still out. So I'm just like, that's so cool that our guy has a third of the movies you can see here are Channing movies, which is pretty cool.
It kind of tracks too because teens at the mall. Channing Tatum is probably
Yeah.
still a draw. Hopefully, I mean we don't know, but he's getting
And
a
there
little
was
older
something
now.
else. Hold on. There was another thing where I was just like, oh, there's another thing that I think that's maybe tied to us or something. Hold on. What was it? But it was a lot of fun. Channing is great in it. Sandy is great in it. I really like both of them, obviously. Obviously Channing, but also I really like Sandra Bullock. There's some surprises in there. It's the kind of movie that I think like everybody will enjoy. It's not a movie you have to go rush out and see, but I would say as soon as you can watch it for free somewhere, just watch it because it's fun.
It felt like it would be kind of Red Notice-y.
Yeah, but it's better.
Is it?
Not
Okay.
not the Red Notice is bad. I mean, it's like Uncharted. It's I think it's
Fun blockbustery, just like
I almost forget all of Red Notice. I don't remember like anything about Red Notice. Do you?
I remember that Ryan Reynolds and The Rock were in it,
Yeah.
and Gal Gadot was in it,
Uh-huh.
and they were stealing.
Yeah.
And there was the scene that was like Indiana Jones. That's what I remember. With the car.
Oh yes, the cart scene. Yes.
That was it. That's what I remember.
I already forgot the cart scene. Yes. Oh, the other thing I just looked it up at the mall is also the Batman with Zoe Kravitz, and so Channing is dating Zoe Kravitz, and so that
Oh,
relationship.
that's right. Yes, yeah, that's
Half
right.
of the movies at the mall, right? So pretty cool. But yeah, I think it's fun. I would say see it for free. Like what was the movie that I was just? There's something already on Paramount. I'm just like, oh, Death on the Nile with Gal Gadot is already on Paramount. I'm
Oh,
just
cool.
like, or no, Peacock. I'm just like, oh, like that was just in theaters like 6 weeks ago. So like everything just gets out. I mean, we've talked about this before. Everything is available at home so quick now.
Yeah.
At least things that aren't Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man's finally available at home, but whatever.
Is it?
But for rental, yes.
Okay, because yeah, we were at my parents' house last weekend. And I was like, oh man, we should watch. Or like even like 2 weeks ago, I was like, we should watch Shang-Chi, and I think it just had hit Disney.
No,
it
Shang-Chi
was a while ago.
has been out
Then maybe it was
for
Spider-Man
a while.
that I was
Spider-Man the Blu-ray comes out I think maybe as this episode comes out. I don't know, but for everything that was just like almost instant, Spider-Man came out last year, right? And so because it made $1 billion or whatever, right?
Yeah,
So
that's true.
they're like, we're gonna believe this sucker. But yeah, Lost City is good. I'm gonna see what's this weekend's movie? Oh, Morbius with Tyrese. So
Oh, I see Morbius this weekend too. I already got my tickets. Not opening night, thanks, Joey.
I'm so sorry. I started seeing movies on Monday instead of Thursday because like I'm not like super excited and just like whatever. And there's like no one at the movie theater on Mondays. So
Yeah, it's awesome. That's why I go like
oh,
Tuesday
next week
nights.
is Ambulance, which I'm looking forward to. The Michael Bay movie with Jake Gyllenhaal and somebody I don't remember who, but that looks good. That looks actually good. So yeah.
Oh, isn't Ambulance the one that looks like Speed?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Jake Gyllenhaal, Isaac Gonzalez, Madam M from Hobbs and Shaw, and Yahya Abdul-Mateen, aka the new Morpheus, are all in Ambulance. I think it's gonna be really good. I think it's gonna be fun and probably actually good. So Ambulance comes out this weekend as this episode hits the main feed.
Cool.
But yeah, that's about it. We have a Patreon page on the show, toofast2forever.com. Shout out to Cassie Wilson, Jake Freer, Ben Milliman, Nick Burris, Alex Ellen, and Justin Kleiman, Brian Rodriguez of High School Slumber Party, Haley Gerbies, Wes Hampton, Christian Larson, Jerry Robinson, Dan the Duke, Hayden, Renato DiDonato, Michael McGann, Lane Middleton, Lindsay Lewandowski, Nate Milton of the Kings of Sport, Jason Rainey, and Jessica Collins, a.k.a. Montez. Thank you all for supporting us at the $5 a month level or above.
Can we talk about Brian's Twitter for a second? Brian only had High School Slumber Party forever. and now he has like 6 Twitters, and it happened overnight.
I want to put Brian on blast. I know that he's been busy. I know that there's like whatever, but I see Mike tweeting at Twilight Slumber and Twilight Slumber retweeting it or whatever, and Twilight Slumber not even following me. Like Brian jokingly like is so reverential and deferential to me in all of his things, and I don't need that, but it's just like, hey man, follow me. So I'd be like, why are you not? So he's following me now. I'm just like, what's going on?
That's awesome. Yeah, so just it was high school summer party forever, and Brian would just like talk to everyone from that.
Yep.
And then he made a Brian Twitter, and now he has a Twilight Twitter.
Yes.
So it's just,
well, he made the Brian Twitter because he knew he was going to do other Twitters, and he wanted to sort of separate church and state a little bit, because it used to be one for everything, which made sense, but now that he's going to have more than one. Like, where would he talk? I think that's the plan. I don't know. But thank you all for supporting the $5 a month level or above. If you want to get a pick for the next year, if you want early access to episodes, bonus episodes like the one we're going to do with Mark Hoffmeyer in the next week, toofast2forever.com. For all that, even $1 a month gets you in the door. Please and thank you. We have an email address, family@cageclub.me. And Joe, we have one email today from Jerry Robinson.
What's up, Jerry? How have you been, bud?
Jerry says, subject line, what's up, guys? Hey, guys, how's it going? I have a bit of good news and scary news. First, the good news. Ileana and I got approved for a home loan, so got about a month to decide if we want it or not, so we're very excited about that.
Very, very cool. Congratulations. You know that Joey and I are large proponents of home ownership. Yeah, good job.
Oh, yeah, by the way, I got a new roof. I was saying to you, and I also signed up for solar. We'll see if solar actually happens, because I've been down this road before, but I have a new roof in my house. So shout out to homeowner and homeowner news. Jerry, there you go. But congrats. He says, I completely finished Spy Races, which is great, and started a new series on Formula One racing, which is super good and dope. It talks about behind the scenes as a Formula One driver, and throughout the season, fast as fuck, boy.
Dude, I was reading. This is really funny that he brings this up, because I was just reading a ton of things. Currently, it's the NFL owners meeting, and there was like a guy there that like got invited from F1, and all the NFL owners were like, "How the fuck did this explode like this?" The traction in America is gigantic right now, and everybody's trying to figure out why everybody cares about F1, and they've pointed it back to the Netflix series.
Really? Okay.
They said that it's kind of like the Hard Knocks model that the NFL used. And people watched the series on Netflix and then got into F1, and like now a ton of people in America are watching F1, and it's like very, very strange in a great way. Like, I mean, like, yeah, it's like it's fun and cool, but like I've heard a lot of people in the past week talk about F1. Granted, the season just started like 2 weeks ago or something. So
I know past guest of the show, Jeff Legaspi, just bought tickets, I think, to some Formula One thing. He was posting about that on Twitter. So I know F1 fever is out, so catch it if you want it. You know, whatever.
Very cool.
I sent you some pictures. Jerry says, now for the scary part. Today, March 29th, so yesterday as we record this, I got in an accident where a semi-truck without the trailer cut us off, causing us to hit the back wheel and making us fly at a 30-degree angle for a few seconds, us yelling, oh shit. The part of my work truck that was damaged was where I was sitting. No one got hurt in either truck, but it could have been worse. If there wasn't anything on our bed of the truck, we would have turned over sideways and I could have easily been pinned inside. But again, we're all good. No injuries. Gave me an adrenaline rush. Gonna attach a few pics as well. That's crazy.
That's insane. I'm glad you're okay, dude. God bless. Seriously, like that's wild. Awesome. Glad you're everybody's happy and healthy. So that's...
Yeah. He says, I might have missed an announcement, but wondering when you guys are doing the Cars segments. I love hearing Joe guess the Cars. We're still doing that, but it depends on who the guest is. If it's someone like Brian,
it's a lot of
feel.
It's a lot of feel is what's been happening. Not that we're skipping it, but sometimes we get guests and we can maybe sense they're getting a little tired. Maybe they have a little bit of time constraints or something, or maybe they're just a little bit more shy than usual. And in those cases, we skip. But if we have a guest that's like rambunctious and excitable, then we often do them. So
yeah, just trying to keep it fresh and trying to keep it fun and not overly long. So yeah, we haven't done it in a while, but I feel like the timing hasn't felt right in a little while. But we will I think we'll do a couple more this upcoming lap, but we're mixing things up, trying to keep it fresh and new, and not every episode being the exact same. But we still got a little stockpile, so we're gonna get through them eventually. So just hang in there.
Sometimes I'm sure you guys can hear too that it feels like we're kind of like pressuring the guests to play this game, and they like
Yes.
kind of don't want to. And in that case, I feel bad about it. So that's
Yeah.
what like one of
We'll
the
figure it out.
yeah.
He says, that's all I have for now. Guys, be fast, never last. You'll get past and lose that ass. No, Monica. Well, thank you, Jerry.
It's good to hear from you.
Glad that you
Good
guys
luck.
are doing okay.
Yeah, good luck to hear. Good luck with your house stuff, and glad that you're okay and safe.
We also have a store, Too Fast, Too Forever shop. Still have not done the new t-shirts, but they'll be up soon at some point. Maybe between laps is a good time to do it. Joe, on the streets, news about the Fast and Furious. Anything you've seen in the last week?
No, other than memes that use The Rock instead of Chris Rock recently. That's about it.
Oh, I've seen those, and I didn't put together the name. It was just like The Rock slapping him, and people were like, "Oh, we love you, The Rock."
Yeah,
that kind of
that's
thing?
yeah, those kind of things. Yeah.
The only thing I've seen, and this is unfortunate for one thing, but they are delisting Fast and Furious Crossroads.
Oh, I
From,
did see this tweet. Yeah, yeah. Reaction Rocket sent it to us. Or like that's how I saw it at least.
I think Dom Toretto, Dope D, sent it to us. I think.
Okay. Okay.
But yes, so I saw it and I was saving it, and then he posted it. He shared it with us. So this is just unfortunate. Basically, what it means is that if you bought it, you can still play it. If you haven't bought it by the time it delists from the store, you can no longer download it. But that also means that they're basically shutting the servers down, so multiplayer is not going to be available. And so I know that game got a really kind of bum rap when it came out. We love talking to Andy Tudor about it. I think that was a great conversation. I think the story was cool. Maybe the gameplay could have been, who knows, right? But
yes.
normally, things get delisted after like 5, 7, 10, 12 years or whatever. And like it becomes a big deal because like normally things don't get delisted, but like 2 years or a year and a half is not normal. So
Definitely
unfortunate. Bummer to Andy, who was so generous with his time with us, but I'm sure he's doing his next game was going to be even more beloved. So glass half full or something.
Yeah, he was a genuine Fast and the Furious fan. It kind of sucks how it played out.
But I think that's the only news that I've seen. I don't think that I've seen anything else. No news about the movies, I don't think. I would not be surprised if they're like, hey, here's a breaking news story, or if we don't get any news for like 3 months. I have no idea. We're in like a weird kind of gray area where who knows?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But is Dwayne Johnson, speaking of The Rock and Chris Rock, is Dwayne Johnson in F10?
No, he's definitely not.
Still no?
I don't think so. Not at all.
But he is in Young Rock, Season 2, Episode 3.
Yes.
In this, we finally get some backstory to the man who is trying to disrupt his campaign in episode In Your Blood.
I was glad that we didn't continue dragging this along, for sure.
Yes.
Because we talked about that last time, that like this could have ran till like the end of the season, essentially, right? Like it could have.
But we have here, he's explaining why this guy Julian, we're starting to get why he hates him. We don't know why he said yet that The Rock tried to kill him.
Well, we see like the Rock side of the story, which is like it was a cute episode where The Rock is very, very young Dewey. This kid comes to his school and doesn't believe that Rocky Johnson is Dewey's dad.
And he's like, how do we know he's your dad? It's weird that you take the bus. We've never seen him pick you up. We don't know that there's any pictures, blah, blah, blah. And he keeps trying to prove it. And the kids are kind of like, they're firmly on Dewey's side. And then as the episode goes on, they're like, hey, maybe he's not. Maybe this is just kid looking for attention or whatever. But then eventually by the end, he kind of proves it by bringing the championship belt. But it is setting up this tension for both, modern day, but also young Dewey, right? Where it's just like,
yeah,
there's this kid's trouble.
He's gonna give him shit. It's pretty funny though. I was laughing with Rachel as we were watching the episode because she likes the show too, so we watch them together. That like, if you're Dewey in Hawaii and his grandma was running this wrestling promotion, everybody on the island knows that this is your dad, right?
Right.
Like
Yep.
the only person that doesn't know that this is your dad or would question it is the new kid. So to see like the kids flip was really funny where they're like, yeah, like we know your dad. And then they're like, do we know your dad? It's like, yes, of course you know his dad. Like it's not a big island, right? So like, and they're like natives, locals. So
Yep.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I like this one a lot. I'm glad we're getting, and also we got another hint of the like. Well, one there was the first like openly gay wrestler. That was pretty cool.
Very, very cool. Yes, we also have The Rock's grandfather kissing him on the mouth, like basically like, hey, don't,
Which is
not
the
like in a sexual way,
coolest.
but just like in yes, just like in a hey, don't fuck with this guy kind of way, right? And so it was very cool.
A weird, awful sense. I remember that there was like stories from Hunter S. Thompson that like if you ever tried to photograph Hell's Angels, they would just start making out with each other.
Oh, that's funny.
Right? Like for them being like kind of shitbags, or well, like really shitbags in many ways. That like if you ever tried to like take pictures of them, they would just like make out with each other so that if you had them on film, like on camera, it would just be like dudes kissing.
Well, I guess it's because you're trying to exploit them, right? Like, oh, look at these. Like, I found these bad dudes or whatever, and so they're just trying to subvert expectations. I don't know. There's probably something more complicated at work there, but that's interesting.
Yeah, it was just like, for being like the badass most masculine dudes out at the time, for them to do that so that like if you had pictures of that, like if cops had pictures of them together, they would be like we just love each other, like stuff like that. So, yeah.
We also get a young Vince McMahon here, which is kind of cool.
I think did we get a young we got a young Vince McMahon before, I think.
Maybe, probably, we gotta. I feel like if we had him more, if we had him before, we definitely get him more here because he's on screen for like probably a minute or two here at the beginning, right? Talking about like talking to the grandma, talking to the mom, and
Do
The
you
Rock in modern day talking about his relationship with him.
Now that I think about this and I just saw I think that all the new WWE things are quote unquote free on Peacock. Did you know this?
No, but when I opened Peacock to watch Four Brothers, one of the things that was scrolling was like
WrestleMania this weekend.
watch wrestle. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's interesting.
So I think that you no longer have to pay-per-view them if you have Peacock and pay for Peacock.
I wonder if it's live or if they're just like
No, no,
if
no,
they would
no.
just do it after the
Because
fact.
I watch a lot of Pat McAfee, and he was like, "Oh, it's gonna be on Peacock," and they were like, do you have to pay-per-view it?" And he was like, "No, it's on Peacock," and they're like, "So it's free?" And he's like, "Well, it's not free because you have to pay for Peacock." So I'm not sure. I'm gonna try to watch WrestleMania on Peacock this weekend and see how it goes.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah, report back. 'Cause
Anyways,
that's
but my thought was while I was getting there was, do you think the WWE and Vince McMahon has a vested interest in Young Rock?
I don't know. That's a very good question. I
I'm
think
curious now because like they're portraying Vince McMahon in a kind of like I'm a cool guy kind of way. WrestleMania is coming up. The show is ultimately going to be about wrestling, right? And they have a ton, like billions of dollars. So like it would kind of make sense that they're at least like a partner in it.
I don't know. Yeah, because I feel like Vince McMahon has a complicated legacy in a way, right? And The Rock is like, there's nothing negative at all. Just like, hey, yeah, he's a good dude with good ideas and blah 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 to help my career. And just like, okay,
But I can see this as like great cross promotion.
for sure.
Like now that WrestleMania is like coming out, like I mean this weekend, they're gonna run the WrestleMania commercials behind this.
Oh yeah.
And if you could watch it on Peacock, it's like kind of a genius thing.
Who owns WrestleMania?
WWE.
Who owns WWE? Are they independent or does like Comcast own WWE?
I think that they own themselves because there was a WWE channel and they like syndicate through either Fox or
Oh, well, Vince McMahon owns WrestleMania on Peacock. Act now and stream WrestleMania 38. Is WrestleMania free on Peacock? With an upgrade to Peacock Premium, you'll get every WWE Premium live event, including WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Royal Rumble, plus every WCW and ECW Premium live event in history. Wow.
What is Peacock Premium? Do I have Peacock Premium?
Yeah, I think so. Like everybody can have. The Peacock has it's the most. There's like three
I
tiers.
know. That's why I was asking you. Is Premium just like normal essentially? Like there's not like a like
Well,
'cause there's like
there's a
Hulu.
free Peacock. There's a free Peacock.
Oh, okay. So that's okay. So that's what I'm saying because there's like Hulu and then there's like ad-free Hulu with live sports.
Yes,
And I
so
think Peacock kind of like starts at that level, and then there's like a tier down that's free.
there's free Peacock. There's $4.99 Peacock with ads where you have access to their originals, and then there's like $9.99 a month, which is I think all their stuff
And
ad-free.
live TV. And live TV.
And live TV.
Cool. So I have the live TV, so I should have this premium one. Sorry, we're off on like weird tangents, but like my brain's kind of all over the place. I think it's kind of still relevant, but
No, it's fine. The back half's going to be short, so go wander. But anything else to say about Young Rock?
oh yes, I had a couple.
I do like at the end, I don't know if it's, I doubt that it's actually going to happen, but The Rock is composing a text message that says, 30 years later and you're still a jabroni.
Yes, I don't know if it's a text or if it was a tweet.
Oh, a tweet. Yes, a tweet. I don't know, because it was said reply, so it doesn't look like it's going to be a DM. It looks like it's going to be like an open reply, but that's going to get him into some trouble, which it feels like that's something that he would, I think, unless this show
too
is like
smart for
really,
this.
yes, exactly.
In real life.
Yes.
Hence the no response to Vin Diesel's "Hey little bro, get your."
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think for the show to be like, they're definitely like portraying a specific slant of truth, but I think that they're still relatively realistic. And so I think I don't think that they would do narrative conflict like that just to like have like episodes, because like that's not true to who The Rock is as a person, right? So
I'm curious to see how this plays out. I like this episode. I'm very glad that we're over with the like stringing this along. Like the guy's just like a henchman in the background. Like,
yes.
Cool. Get us through this thing. I
Yep.
love seeing young Dewey. Get us back there. I love seeing Grandma. I love The Rock's dad when he's young, and a tag team heavyweight champion of the world. All of these things are cool. This is probably my favorite part of Young Rock, so keep up with that.
Yeah, for sure. The final thing to do before we take a break is the Fast and Furious minute, the Too Fast, Too Furious minute, thankfully, mercifully, finally out of that race and into the Pearl in minute 55. There's so many different options for this. The minute title is probably going to change depending on the question, because as you might have seen, I drafted like 5 questions.
I didn't read them,
So
but
many
yes, I
options
saw
here.
that. I saw that.
But for now, the name of the minute is Brian Made It, which is a play on Brian Makes It from the score.
Y'all ain't ready, homeboy. Get to walking, Fabio.
Use them bus tokens, partner.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, what you need?
We're guests of Mr. Barone's.
It's a oasis in here, bruh.
Yeah, lots of potential.
You got a pen?
In this minute, Brian ever so narrowly edges out Fonzie to win the down and back race. Our crew ride off with their new cars and taunt Fonzie and Fabio as they drive away. We then cut to the Pearl, Carter Verone's club, where Brian and Roman walk in and greet the Oasis as the minute ends. So not only is this a good minute, it's an even better minute because we are finally out of that race.
We're out of the race, but we enter the world's blandest nightclub. Like, the most bland nightclub I've ever seen. Rich went to school in Miami. I used to go to Miami at least once a year to go partying. I've been to a lot of the nightclubs in Miami. Many of them are kind of bland. This one is the blandest of all of them. There's literally nothing on the walls in the whole club.
There were things that I noticed that I appreciated in this minute.
The hoops that the girls are sitting on.
No, not that. I think I've seen that. I think I've seen that before. But the pearls, the club is called the Pearl.
Yes.
But I like that there is the like the champagne bath, like the ice bath for the champagne behind the bar, and there's
Yes.
just pearls draped on that. The bartender's wearing pearls. The go-go dancers, or whatever you want to call them, are wearing pearls. Like, there's a theme. It's not like it's not overwhelmingly pearly, but there are pearls everywhere, which I thought was pretty cool.
So yes, okay, that leads me to my discovery and discussion for this minute.
Wait, do we want to get there, or do we want to finish up the race? Because I have a couple things about the race first.
Finish up the race.
Okay.
That's fine. Go ahead.
The first, 15 or 20 seconds is Brian getting through. I have a question for you.
What?
So Roman taunts Fonzie and Fabio as Brian wins.
Yes.
He says, got 2 nice cars. Then he says a second line. So the script site where I'm getting this from says, that's all my man. If you're listening, it sounds sort of like that's all my mama or something, which makes no sense. But then I loaded up the actual movie because we're not watching the movie. I chunked it into bits. There's no subtitles. But I loaded up the actual movie and the subtitles, and that second line that Roman says is not subtitled, and I have no idea what he says.
Can I watch? I got it up, so I wanna.
It's like at the first 10 seconds of it.
Okay, but even before Brian's drive. Okay. Oh, he says that's on my mama, is what he says.
That's on my mama?
Yeah, like on my mother's grave, like on my mom. That's what I'm hearing.
Okay, because the script site says that's all my man, which does not sound like it.
No.
That's on my mama doesn't exactly make sense to me either. Maybe this is another thing. Please let us know if we're doing the whole...
Yeah, no, it's like a...
If we're doing Snap a Speedo again, if there's something very obvious about this, please let us know. That's on my mama. A term used... On my mama, you meant it, or you telling the truth, or you not joking around? Bruh, on my mama, I did.
Yes, see? Yes.
Slang was created in Columbus, Georgia, and soon passed to Atlanta, where it got popular.
There
On
you
my
go.
mama, I passed that test. Okay, so it's Southern slang.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
So, like, today, like, someone would say, let's go, or that's what's up, or whatever. It just, that's on my mama.
Or like truth. Or
Okay. Got 2 new cars, that's on my mama.
No cap. Something, whatever, right?
And if you hear something different, let us know. But I think that sounds good. I also think that there's there's a couple more sort of awkward things.
The what?
This race
you
part.
got a pan? Oh no, in the race. Okay.
In the race. So Brian beats Fonzie
Yes.
in the race.
Yes.
And then Roman and Suki and Tej and Jimmy are celebrating, right?
Yes.
Suki's like, nice. Then we cut awkwardly. Like, it feels like they maybe shot something that they just removed because you don't need to see it. But they, like, cut to the 4 of them awkwardly standing there, the men holding the women, and everybody looking kind of sad.
Okay.
Which is a shot that I don't remember ever seeing.
I noticed it this time too because we're watching it so slow because Fabio is in like this really great like prom pose or like boy band album cover pose. Go ahead, continue. Is that what you were about to say?
This is for sure going to be episode art for some time when we get to Too Fast again, because I'm just like, I love this so much.
It's a great shot. I really do love it too. I noticed it this time. Yes.
But like, we don't see them getting out of the cars
Nope.
or handing over the keys
Nope.
or being upset or anything. It's just like,
Use those
No,
bus
this is-
tokens, and then you see them just in this like crushed boy band pose. Yeah.
yes. And then we cut to Brian, and Brian's like celebrating in his car, or maybe this is before that shot, but like Brian starts backing up. Like, he doesn't turn around to drive back to the finish line. He just starts backing up. I'm like,
He
what are you-
reverses. Yeah. It's so weird. I agree. Yeah.
I don't know. Very, very weird. But yeah, just some weird stuff there. I think it feels like this was kind of like chopped a little bit, but whatever. I'm glad that we're gone. We don't need it to be here anymore. I'm glad that we're moved on, but it's still, there's some weirdness here in terms of the filmmaking.
It seems like Brian like finished the race and then just was reversing back to like reshoot the scene, and they liked that one and just kept the reverse in it. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like he's probably just like driving like 20 miles an hour, and they're
Right,
like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
like make a grimace and then pretend like you won, and then he's like, okay, cool, and then he's like reverse in case I need to do it again.
So we get to the Pearl. So what did you want to bring up in this minute about the Pearl?
I wanted to talk to you about the Pearl.
Okay.
Because the Pearl was apparently, and this makes a ton of sense, right? That the Pearl was actually a real nightclub in Miami,
Right.
and it's closed down. So if you click the first link, that's the address, Pearl Champagne Lounge, 1 Ocean
Okay.
Drive, you can see a bunch of pictures of what the Pearl looked like. And it was a very bland, tacky nightclub.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see it? It's just white. It's just AstroTurf upstairs. It's like purple lights and white couches. That's the whole thing. But it looks pretty much exactly like you'd see. You know what I mean? Like in the movie. Like you could see the bar, you could see all the goofy chairs that look like crab claws, all this wacky shit. It was there. It is no longer there. It is closed. Now, the hard part is if you go to that address, it's kind of difficult to figure out what is actually there. And I think
maybe.
I think it might now just be a Haagen-Dazs ice cream shop.
Which is wild.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, look at it. Like, I can't figure out where the entrance was or would be, but the address is kind of the same, and it looks like that's kind of the entrance, right?
It looks like it. I don't know. Like there might be like
because that looks like
every strip mall in Miami kind of looks. I don't know, but like it might be. It might as well be.
Yeah, and like the rooftop looks like that could be like have been like the rooftop lounge part of it. The Pearl Miami, where this is, might now just be a Haagen-Dazs ice cream shop. And if that's true, fucking awesome. I love it.
Even better for Carter Verone.
Yeah, man. He got out of the game. You know what I mean? Like now he's just like a small franchise-er and just owns a bunch of Haagen-Dazs around Miami.
Yeah.
After he got out of jail. That's what he has like a kid now. He just like walks in with his flip-flops and checks on his Haagen-Dazs every day.
What did you notice inside of the club, though? Because I think I mentioned the pearls that are draped everywhere. You mentioned candles.
Oh, I just noticed there's a shot of the bar. I couldn't count them because of how they're lined up. It's very difficult to count because they're like stacked pretty much one on top of the other. There's probably about 30 candles just lined up across the bar. I couldn't count them, but it made me laugh because Dom's house, a lot of candles. Carter Verone's club.
There's a scene in Four Brothers where there's a punch thrown, no spoilers, and there's like a bunch of candles on top. I'm like, was it just early 2000s, just like a very candle-heavy time?
I think so. There was all those like candle stores at the mall and shit. I think candles are just a big thing. Just lots of candles.
Very possible.
Yeah.
I did not make too much note of the extras' clothing. The bouncer outside is wearing a black suit. There's valets that are three identical men dressed identically, which is very kind of funny that, like, on its own, she's like, yeah, that's what a valet wears. But to see just three dudes in a row, all in, like, white short-sleeve shirts and khakis, just standing basically in the same pose, I'm like, it's kind of funny. There's the featured dancers. There's, like the go-go dancers that both have, like, you know, like a white bikini top and a skirt, and they're kind of, like, feathery and flowery, kind of, like, just, like, I think feathery, like white feathers everywhere. And then there's something that I think I remember from the first movie, but I don't remember for sure, that there's like a close-up of a woman's like chest, not like in a slutty way, just like, it's just like, oh, like this is just, you know, how they're dancing.
Her body,
and she's got like a huge like heart over her full chest, which I feel like is a shirt that we also saw similarly in the first movie, but also, I don't know, that feels like forever ago. But it feels like the big full chest size heart thing is clothing that we've seen before in these movies.
I think so too. I was trying to look around at the walls and stuff, and there was nothing there. There's 2 exit signs. The girls dancing in the hoops, but there's more interesting things in Carter Verone's back office and when Monica shows up. I think from memory, I think so. But like right now, there's literally nothing on the walls. They're just white walls, white everything. Bar. There's nothing.
Yeah, we really haven't like looked around too much. Like the characters not looking
also,
around. They walk in.
Yes. Also that too.
They see the
just
Oasis.
People. There's girls dancing, belly buttons type things. It's a lot of like waists and boobs.
Yeah. So I have 5 different questions that are based on this minute. Some of the dialogue that we have not talked about yet. But how does Roman suggest that Fabio and Fonzie get home after losing the race? Roman says, get to walk in Fabio, then use them bus tokens, partner. So either one of those answers possibly. So now that there's 2 different answers, maybe we skip that.
Okay.
How does Roman describe Carter Verone's club? Oasis. What does Brian see in Carter Verone's club? A lot of potential. What's the name of Carter Verone's club? The Pearl, which I think we might have had that before when Monica Fuentes asked. I have to check that.
Yeah, we did because we were like the flamingo amnesia. Yes. I remember this. Okay.
Or when they walk into the club, what does Roman ask Brian if he has on him? A pen, which just feels kind of funny, like pre-cell phone maybe? Like I guess a pen to like write down numbers? Is that
that's what he was asking for, yes. That's precisely, and I really like that question for that reason, because it's so dated, and we could be like, pen, a condom, a good one-liner.
Breath mints. a nod to Four Brothers again.
Wait. Listerine breath strips.
Okay. But
Or
yeah,
breath
so
mints,
in
yeah.
minute 39, Monica says, yeah, Pearl at midnight. Carter says, we'll get to know each other a little bit better. All right, sounds good. We'll catch you tonight. See ya. So we now have a timestamp, roughly. We're now at midnight, the Pearl.
It looks like fucking midday.
Well,
They don't show up at midnight to this club. Let me go back to the thing. Well, I guess it's late here. Let's see when they get to, like, the club. I guess, yeah, maybe it could be midnight. Yeah.
so we like the final question, though. When they walk into the club, what does Brian ask Roman? Or Roman asks Brian if he has on him?
Yes. I really
Pen.
like that. I really like that question.
So breath mints,
Yeah.
Listerine breath strips,
Yeah, like
condoms. Do you want to say another one or no?
a good attitude or like a good one-liner, something along these lines, like something that's not a tangible object. Like, you got any good quibs or you got any good banter, or something along these lines.
Well, we could say it's an obvious wrong answer, but it's a throwback to the first movie. Something about, when they're eating shrimp, like, don't lose that cool of yours, Brian. That's your meal ticket. So either maybe a meal ticket or that cool of yours or something.
Yeah, you got that cool of yours on you. I like that. That's a good one. Excellent. That's along the lines of what I was thinking. Yep. Perfect.
But I'm officially renaming this minute the Hoasis, because we're not using that as the answer.
Okay.
So when they walk into the club, what does Roman ask Brian if he has on him? A pen is the right answer. Breath mints, condoms, Listerine breath strips, or that cool of his.
I would love if Roman would just say, "Hey, Brian, you got any condoms?" Like, how random would
Should we say condoms or should we say rubbers?
Oh, I
How
like
would he-
rubbers better. Rubbers is better. I agree.
He would say rubbers, right?
He would say rubbers. Yeah, he definitely would. Good call. Excellent. But still such a random question, right? Because as sexual as these movies are, they're never that sexual.
No, the most sexual these movies ever get is in that first movie in the montage where Dom picks up Letty by the ass. Like, this is a movie in which
And
multiple...
Brian is in the garage with Mia, who, like, picks up a sheet over herself.
And also Mia's side boob in the first movie. Like, for a franchise in which multiple female characters have babies, there is not a hint that anybody ever has sex.
Yeah, even, like, Dom and Letty, like, are waking up the next... They're not, like, going to bed. They're, like, waking up the morning after their wedding or something, right?
It's wild.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, yeah, they're intimate, but they're not sexual.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at, too. Yeah.
So rubber's very clearly wrong, but, whatever.
Exactly.
Joe, let's take a break and let's come back and let's talk about this tune-up. Let's get this podcast tuned up and ready for lap 11.
Ooh, I like it. Welcome back to Too Fast, Too Forever. This is episode number 232, Tune-Up, Relap, Recap, Lap 10. This episode is brought to you by Brothers Garage Door, their sales and services customers in Waukesha, Azauki, Milwaukee, and Washington counties. They're proud of their reputation as quality garage door company. Shout out to Brothers Garage Door.
Well, shout out to Brothers Garage Door and welcome back. So tune-up, relap, recap. This was the Shaw Brothers lap.
It was.
We had about 15 movies that we watched as pit stops. We watched The 36th Chamber of Shaolin,
Ooh.
Collateral Beauty, which is not in theme, but our Christmas movie.
Yes.
The Boxer's Omen as a Patreon bonus. Both Crank movies, Crank and Crank High Voltage.
That's true. And Crank 3 for Mike, too.
Transporter, no Crank 3.
Oh, Transporter's the... Okay, yes. Transporter's the ones we did with Mike, yes.
8-Diagram Pole Fighter, The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover. In the Name of the King, which was Justin's pick. Homefront, which was Jake's pick. Transporter 1, 2, and 3. Friday Night Lights, which was not on theme, but for our Super Bowl coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, which was Lane's movie. Caligula, Jesus Christ. And the 5 Venoms. So, and then we have 4 brothers coming off the Patreon bonus episode, but good lap, I think. Pretty diverse, eclectic, sort of all over the place lap, but fun.
We saw a lot of movies that I hadn't watched before, which is
Okay.
always good, and I think they were a lot of fun. One of the coolest parts to me was not only did we see a ton of movies that we hadn't seen before and did it, but I feel like we had a ton of great guests this lap.
Yeah, so we had Benno from the Rocky Maivia Picture Show, the whole
Yes.
post-wrestling network. Not Rocky Maivia, but we met him over there.
Yes.
He was on for the original Fast and the Furious. Then we had Brendan Klinkenberg on for Too Fast. We had Alonso Duralde from Maximum Film on to talk about Collateral Beauty. We had Dan Colon of the universally acclaimed Monsters That Made Us on to talk about Fast and Furious. Fan favorite Garrett Smith on back-to-back episodes for Crank.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Tommy on for Fast 5. Nico Keva back for Fast and Furious Spy Racers Homecoming. We said goodbye to the Spy Racers this lap. Shed a tear.
It's true.
Mariah Doty Trevino, the pull quote from Fast and Furious 6, on to talk about that movie. We had Montez on for The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover on the Patreon bonus episode. Reed Vanier on from the Dr. DC podcast. I'm doing this all without notes. I'm trying to remember where everybody is, but yes. On from Tokyo Drift. Nate Milton, friend of the show, on Homefront.
Oh, Homefront was a fun movie too. That was like a wild, just goofy ass James Franco with a 15 different accents movie.
Neighbor Colin. Friday Night Lights and Furious 7 back-to-back with Brian of High School Slumber Party and now Twilight Forever. Twilight Slumber Party? Twilight Slumber Party. That's the name of the show.
Yes.
Mike Manzi, the resident historian, on 3 episodes in a row with the Transporter movies. Josh Buckley, your friend from Whole Lot of Wolves.
Yes.
On The Fate of the Furious. We had Michelle Farley on to talk about Hobbs and Shaw, Justin Kleinman's friend. Brian back to talk about Caligula. Then John Cena from Post Wrestling and Up Next podcast to talk about the 5 Venoms. And then Julian Lytle to talk about F9. So, yeah, crazy, fun lap, great guests.
And very, like, just spread in their likes and hobbies and everything like that. It was just like it was a really cool group of people to talk to. And a bunch of people that I want to talk to again for sure.
Yeah, the weird thing about it's not like a weird thing in a bad way, or it's more good than bad, but it's more just sort of like an observation, is that whenever I'm trying to get guests for a new lap,
Yes.
I basically ask which movie that everybody wants to do, like a couple different things. And so we have like 6 or 7 of the 10. I think we have 7 of the 10 booked. But one of the ones that we don't have booked is one of the ones that is like universally acclaimed. It's just weird that people just like movies that like we're come to say this is one of the better ones is not one that people want to talk about. So like it's just weird. There's like no rhyme or reason, but I think the diverse opinions on this or whatever are a reason that it works so well, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. But it's good, it goes back and forth. There's definitely been many laps you tell me, like, everybody wants to talk about Tokyo Drift this lap for no reason. And then sometimes they're just like, nobody wants to talk about the first one. And you're like, okay, well.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you have a favorite Shaw Brothers movies? The theme,
Yes,
in case
I
people
did.
forget, is the original Shaw Brothers movies or movies with the Shaw Brothers in them. So either Jason Statham or Luke Evans. I don't think we did any Luke Evans movies. Helen Mirren or Vanessa Kirby. I don't think we did any Vanessa Kirby movies. I think it was a very... Because I feel... I thought about this. I was like, I feel like I regret not doing their movies, but like, at the same time, we kind of need to cover movies that the people who listen to the show would probably like.
Yeah.
And I think it's harder to find movies that Vanessa Kirby or Luke Evans are in our listeners would like, that aren't like wildly off theme. Like we could have, but just like... Then we'd be watching, an 1800s period drama where she's in a lesbian relationship or whatever. It's like, I love that movie, but like, doesn't really fit for Too Fast, right? So
I get it. Yeah, I totally get it. And I think that there was a nice balance of that. And also, like we say, on every single one of these laps that has a very, very wide theme, it's like, we can always come back. We can always do the rest of them. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the end.
Yeah.
We have forever. So, like, let Vanessa Kirby put out 10 movies in the next 3 years, hopefully. And then we do a Vanessa Kirby lap. Totally fine by me. So you did ask me what my favorite movie was.
Yes.
I think that I have, like, a couple very fun, surprising ones that I had never seen. But my favorite one, and the one that sticks out to me that I will recommend to a bunch of people forever now, is 8 Diagram Pole Fighter. I think that was super slept on. I'm very, very glad we watched that. I think it was one of the coolest movies I've seen in a very long time. Awesome. Just all around awesome. So,
and I don't know if I mentioned it on this show, but when we did that episode, I'm like, it's not out there. Like, there's no Blu-ray of it. Like, I want to buy it, I can't buy it. It's like harder to find. And then between that time and like within like a month of that, Arrow Video was like, hey, we're remastering and putting it out. And so
shit.
it's on the way to me now. It's like a very nice Blu-ray, not a 4K, but like a very nice Blu-ray set for A Diagram Pole Fighter is on its way to me now. So I'm very excited to see that again and just like watch it a bunch because like again, the movie's great. The movie's really, really good.
I think so. And I think like art film wise, like The Cook, the Thief, the Wife, and His Lover, I'm really glad that we watched that movie.
How does that stack up to you to Caligula? Which one do you like more?
I mean, depends on what mood I'm in. If I just want to just be like visually assaulted with just raw dicks, then probably Caligula. But, 99.9% of the time, I think The Cook, the Thief, the Wife, and His Lover. I'm always impressed with films like this. You know that I'm usually not like a fan of stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of slow. It's kind of like a play. But I actually really like the story, and I really like how it played out and like how like surreal it was. And stuff. So yeah, I was a fan of that one. Shout out to Homefront. I think that movie was hilarious. Glad I got to watch Cranks and Transporters finally.
Are there any, I guess the Triple X movies, which we have not covered, there's a trilogy of those, Vin Diesel only in 2 of those, but are there other movies like, because we talked about on all those episodes, that these are movies that you had been saving, that I'd been saving the Transporter, because we knew we would get to them, but are there any other movies, other than Triple X movies, whenever we get to a Vin Diesel lap, that you've been...
Yes.
What have you been putting off because you know we're going to do it one day?
Scorpion Kings with the rock, all the rock type stuff,
like
the early rock stuff. I haven't seen any of those.
That tracks.
So like those are definitely things I've been saving. Triple X, like you said, is Triple X like isn't Pitch Black another one?
The Riddick movies, yeah. There's Pitch Black is the original, and then there's the Chronicles of Riddick.
Yes, I've never seen any of those either.
Fury, which is a short, and then there's a new movie called Riddick. So yeah, there's like 3.5 of those.
Yeah, so like those I've been saving too that like I just haven't gotten around to because I'm like, okay, I'll just watch them whenever we get to them on the laps now.
Cool.
What was your favorite? What was the most surprising, the best, the favorite, any of these things, least favorite?
Well, I loved A Diagram Pole Fighter, like you said. That's one that I had not seen before that I really, really liked. I thought the Boxer's Omen was weird and cool.
Boxer's Omen was cool. Boxer's Omen was really cool. I agree. Yeah.
Plus, that was the only one this lap I think that we watched together and recorded together.
Oh yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
I love Collateral Beauty. I think it's a bad movie, but I love it. I love the Collateral Beauty cinematic universe, so I think that's great.
Was that the one where there was the Ghost of Christmas Past and it's Helen Mirren?
Yes.
But she's also real, but she's also Ghost of Christmas. Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
To Brian's point, I'm glad I saw Caligula. I will never watch it again, but I'm glad that I know what that's about now. I liked seeing The Cook, the Thief, his wife, and her lover. I think the theme was diverse enough. Like it's always hard balancing themes that when we have ideas where it's like it can't be too narrow, but it also can't be too broad.
Because you can get burnt out on a theme. Like if the theme is too stringent, like as much as we're watching a Fast and the Furious movie every 2 weeks, and like that's its own mountain to climb. Watching 20 pure heist movies.
That's a spoiler for our next lap, but yes.
Like pure. I'm talking like just like. Heist movie, can get a little boring too, right? So you have to like spread it to where it's like a little bit broader than what it is. On the note of, we watched Lock, Stock this lap, right? Mm-hmm. My buddy Zach had watched it too, because I was like, oh, I just watched Lock, Stock for the podcast, and he was like, oh, I've never seen it, I'll get around to watching it. And his reaction was exactly the same as ours, which is that this is a precursor to Snatch. Snatch is a better movie. I really like Snatch. Lock, Stock isn't bad, but you could see that just Snatch is like the natural progression of it.
Sure.
And our one friend who had seen Lock, Stock first and then Snatch was like, Lock, Stock is a way better movie. Like,
interesting.
There's no comparison.
Before Hollywood got its dirty, grubby hands on it or whatever.
Kind of, yes. That was kind of his take on it. And we were like, whoa, no.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it was very, very weird. But I think that ultimately it might come down to like what you've seen first and what you have nostalgia for kind of situation.
Sure.
But I still stick by an hour take on those.
But as you teased, our upcoming lap, not teased, you just flat out said, as you said, our next lap's theme is heist movies. You son of a bitch, I'm in. Talk about heist movies. So we're going to find out if this is going to be too much or not. But, we got a good lap ahead of us. There's a lot of good movies that I'm looking forward to. If you're a patron and have not gotten your patron pick in, we still have wiggle room if you want to get it in this lap. But just email it in or send it on Patreon or whatever. You know how to get in touch with us. But I'm very much looking forward to heist movies that we've talked about for a while, wanting to cover. Also, I'm not going to say what it is yet, but this is the lap. In the middle of this lap, I'm going to Barcelona for 2 weeks for a music festival.
Yes.
And so we're going to do something as a little fun little bonus that we've talked about doing for a while and actually haven't done yet. So I'm looking forward to doing that as well. So we will get that out sometime late May, early June for those things.
Yes.
But is there one heist movie in particular, and maybe this is either I'll add to the list or one that we're going to do or whatever, but is there one heist movie in particular that you're looking forward to seeing?
There's one that I think I would like to add to the lap that I've been thinking about that I don't know if it's actually a heist movie or not. But we watched it again recently, and I think you said you liked it, but Lucky Number 11.
So that's the thing. Like,
it's not really a
hard.
heist movie. It takes all the cues from a heist movie.
There's crime, right? There's crime. And also now there's Bruce Willis in that who just stepped away from acting because he has aphasia, which is a terrifying, scary disease.
Poor Bruce
It's
Willis.
crime. It's one of the themes, one of the nano themes, mini themes on, it says heist, or it's an or. I don't know. We'll do it as a bonus episode. I'll put it in as a bonus episode.
Did you see it? Have you seen it recently? I feel like you said you saw it and you liked it. You haven't seen it since it came out type situation.
No, I haven't seen it since, I saw it on DVD. I don't think I saw it in theaters, but I don't think I own the Blu-ray. I think I probably own the DVD, but I saw it back in...
Do you remember it?
Very barely. I remember... Here's a spoiler for Lucky Number 11. So if you want to go into the movie pure...
Do you remember the, twist?
No. All I
Good.
remember about the movie is that Bruce Willis is in a wheelchair, and at one point he throws the blanket off his lap, and he's got guns under there. That's, the only thing I remember about the movie.
Okay. Yeah, that's not too bad.
We'll do this as a bonus episode, though, because, that's the thing. It's, I don't know, heist versus crime is similar, but also distinctly different.
Yes.
And, we're not doing the Godfather movies, but, the Godfather is not heist, but it's definitely crime. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's strange, but
It is.
it'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. Anything else to talk about with lap 10, or should we get into the most important question of the hour, your rankings, and my rankings, too? Also, Wes was supposed to send something in tonight. Didn't he ask us when we're recording this episode? Wes, you done fucked up again, my boy.
He said he wanted to send in his rankings. No, I was going to say I really liked this lap. I liked the departure from all of the Fast and Furious questions. I think that the evolution of the guest interviewing is going really well. I want to once again say that I really enjoyed all of our guests this lap. They fucking killed. And I can't wait to bring a whole bunch of them back because I want to hear their takes about all kinds of other stuff.
Yeah. And that's also another thing. I'm glad you brought that up. I want to say that, there's a certain element of the show that is going to be the same thing all the time forever. That's
Yes.
kind of what the show is. But at the same time, we don't want it to get stale or weird or whatever. So if there's a thing that you love or a thing that, Jerry mentioned before in the email about
The car
where the car
pictures.
question,
Yeah.
car pictures go. But if there's a thing that either we don't do anymore that you like, or that we're doing that you're like, please stop doing that, or whatever, you don't have to we don't have to read it on air, but we're
And we
always
won't take
happy
it to heart. I mean, constructive criticism is great. So, if you're like, this thing doesn't work, fine. Just tell me.
Right, because it's not like you're, it's not like it scared you away, because if you're listening and you're going to write in an email, you're still listening to the show, right? So, we know that you haven't gone away. But if you have feedback, because again, we've done 230 of these. Wes says, this time it really was my fault. So, yeah. Wes, you done fucked up. I want to keep doing this. I want to make it fun for us and fun for you. And so if you have ways to make it better or different or whatever, please, we would love to hear them. Whether you're a patron or just you want to email in family@cageclub.me, we would genuinely love to hear it.
I agree.
Your rankings normally. So if this is your first tune-up, we do rankings every lap. But Joe made the distinction, I think on lap 2 maybe. He's like, I'm not doing real rankings every lap. I'm going to do goofy rankings. So he gives rankings, but they're like the most family to the least family, or the most fun I've had versus whatever. And
Yes.
I'm like, well, this is fine, but it doesn't really help me. But so now, every 5 laps, 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever, you are going to give real, actual rankings. So, bottom up or top down, let us hear your rankings now. I don't even have... You have not given me rankings with F9 in them at all, not even like temporary rankings. So I have no idea what this is going to look like. So I'm very excited.
Okay, I did this. I did it. I just want to let you know, as I mentioned at the top of the hour, we've been watching a lot of the league. So I did absolutely no tinkering with this list. Went gut. Lined them up 1 to 10. I just wrote 1 to 10. 1 through 9 across the top, Hobbs and Shaw, just crossed them off, just banged it down the list, right? No tinkering, no flipping, no nothing. Just gut feels off the rip.
Sure.
This is what I felt today, okay?
Yep.
Gonna go bottom up.
Of course. Okay.
10th ranked movie, Fate.
All right. That was your number 9, so that is consistent.
Yes. 9th ranked movie, 4.
That was 6, so that fell a couple spots.
Okay, yeah, so I don't know my old rankings either. So this
Do you want me to tell you, or do you want to not know?
No, tell me as
Okay.
we go. This is fun. I like it. 8th ranked movie, Furious 7.
So that was 8, so that actually kind of technically climbed 1, but yeah, still toward the bottom.
Okay. 7th ranked movie, Too Fast.
That's where it was again, so still kind of climbed 1
Oh,
in a certain
this
sense.
is wild that they're so consistent for... Okay. 6th ranked movie, F9, The Fast Saga.
Okay.
5th ranked...
Previously unranked.
Yeah. 5th ranked movie, Hobbs and Shaw.
That's where you had it. Yep. I wonder if these top 5 are going to be all the same. We're going to find out.
Okay. 4th, Furious 6.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
3rd, The Fast and the Furious.
Whoa. That fell from number 1 to number 3.
Okay. 2nd, Tokyo Drift.
That went from number 3 to number 2, and then you finally saw the light.
Fast 5.
Yep. Went from number 2 to number 1.
That's what I was feeling today. Wow, I can't believe how consistent that was. I literally haven't thought about the rankings since lap 1.
Well, what's interesting, and I'm sure that this sort of impacts the people who are listening to this too, like hearing our guests talk, but I feel like I'm trying to balance how I feel about them while I'm watching them, how I feel about them as I think about them, and also what like the points, like the not necessarily how fun a conversation is, but like how our guests feel about a certain movie. You know what I mean? It's it's tough. So
I just no, I went with like purely like how I feel about the movie today, like which one I think is the best, most fun, most Fast and Furious type situations. All of those.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So mine from the bottom up, number 10, I have Too Fast, which is where it was.
Okay.
Which again I feel bad about, but it's just what it is.
Okay.
Number 9, I have Fast and Furious 4, which again is crazy because I feel like I like that movie more than most of our guests, but just
I
you know,
agree. I agree.
Number 8, I have Hobbs and Shaw, which falls one place. You have 5, I have 8, so there's a little bit of a gap there. But again, I think it's, tiers or whatever. I think we're probably similar, and also we love all these movies.
Yeah.
Number 7, Fate of the Furious, which flip-flopped for me with Hobbs and Shaw.
Okay.
Number 6, I have F9.
Same place that I do. Okay.
Yep, fell 1 spot for me. Number 5, I have Furious 7, which climbed 1.
Okay.
So 7 and 9 flipped for me, and Hobbs and Fate flipped for me, apparently. Number 4, Tokyo Drift.
Okay.
Number 3, the original. Number 2, Fast and Furious 6. And number 1, Fast 5.
Okay.
I do think the more we watch these... Again, I don't think the 5 will ever be dethroned. I'm glad to see that Fast 5 is in your number 1 spot now.
Yeah.
I do think that 6 could fall. I just think there's so much to love about 6. I don't think that it works as well as a movie as like the first one or even Tokyo Drift. But I just love, there's so much about 6 that I love that I'm just like, I will probably, I don't know. It's the top 4 are like close. I mean, well, 1 is ahead. Fast 5 is ahead. And then 2 through 4 are like real tight.
Yes. Yeah.
And then for me, there's a gap to 7, to Furious 7.
Yeah, I can see my top 4, my top 3 interchanging at any point. 5, Tokyo Drift, and 1. Like, those 3 can just rotate.
But so you have a little bit of a gap before 6.
Yeah, I go 5, 3, 1 are like top tier for me, and then there's a split, and then maybe under Too Fast at 7. Like 7, 4, 8 are the bottom 3, and those can flip at any time too.
I have 5, 6, 1, 3 as a group, and then 7, 9, I don't even know. I feel like 7 is weird. 7's a real wild card for me.
It is, we've been separating ourselves from the emotions of it, but then also you can't really separate yourself of the emotions from it. You know what I think is going to happen? I think when 10 comes out and Brian comes back, 7's going to drop even more for me.
It's very interesting. I also...
You know what I mean? Like, because if it's like, we lose Paul Walker, but if Brian is back, then like 7 is kind of not really a send-off at all, right?
Right, yeah.
At least not to Brian, to Brian. To Paul Walker, yes, but not to Brian.
But I guess I have a tier of 7, 9, 8. Yeah, and then Hobbs and Shaw 4, 2.
I like Hobbs and Shaw, and when we watched it recently again, I was like, holy fuck, this movie's still a blast. And I think that it gets super duper bonus points for me because I fucking love the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack is so much better than F9. Like, it's just worlds better. Like, it's like Tokyo, like the Tokyo Drift and Hobbs and Shaw are two of the best soundtracks I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So like I can't, I think my brain just can't escape that part of it. I just love watching it, and it gives me such joy and like upbeat, fun feels while I'm watching it that I'm like, this got to be in the top half. I don't know what to do.
I think the issue that I'm having is with the newer movies, because we've watched them more often, and talked about them more recently. Like, I have them at 8 and 6, you have them at 5 and 6. I just think that they're sort of suffering just because of like recent, like it's a weird like recency bias in reverse almost, where I'm just like, I'm kind of tired of those.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I don't know.
But I thought that with Hobbs and Shaw, and then like when we watched 9 50 times this lap, or last whatever. When we watched 9 a million times, and then like I watched Hobbs and Shaw again for this lap, I was like, oh fuck, I do really enjoy this movie.
Yeah. You should start a podcast about them.
I know. I should probably talk about these more often, right? If I like them so much.
Is there anything else that we need to talk about or need to cover in this episode?
We did the quiz so far. We did our scores, but we did that before. No, I think that's about it, right?
I think so. So next week, lap 11, You Son of a Bitch, I'm In, Heist Movies kicks off with The Fast and the Furious. And then I guess I'll say that our first pit stop
What is it?
Is going to be, I'll say what many probably say is one of the best heist movies of all time, Michael Mann's 1995 film Heat.
Oh, yeah, and also I've never seen Heat before.
Okay. Oh, also, if you want,
and I love De Niro,
either you, Joe, or you, the listener, Racer Trash did a Heat.wave.
Oh, yes.
That's available for download on the Internet Archive. So if you want to watch Heat Wave as well, there's also, I don't think it's up there, but they also did like a VHS rip where they muddied it up. They made it even look chopped and screwed a year and more. But we're going to talk about that as well, too. So Heat and Heat Wave.
I'm so proud that you use the term chopped and screwed.
Oh, yeah. But I think that's it. So next lap, Heist Lap. Thank you for listening, and thank you for those of you who support the show.
Yeah, thank you.
If you want bonus episodes, because we have monthly bonus episodes.
At least.
We've got, I think, 4 coming up this new lap. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're going to be good.
Is there any movie that has a bunch of dicks in it that Brian's going to make us watch this lap?
No, Brian is making us watch a movie with Kristen Stewart in it.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. I'll take that. I think
that's it. I don't know that there's dicks in any of these movies. I guess we'll find out.
We absolutely will.
Yeah.
There will never be as many dicks as there was in Caligula. Never.
True. Very, very true.
Nothing can get that bad.
For all things Too Fast, Too Forever, go to cageclub.me, facebook.com/TooFast2Forever, or at TooFast2Forever on Twitter and Instagram. Email us, family@cageclub.me. Check out our Patreon page at TooFast2Forever.com and our store at TooFast2Forever.shop, and come back next week as we kick off lap 11 with The Fast and the Furious. And also, in between now and then on the Patreon with 4 Brothers. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe too.
And we'll tell you all about it
when we see you